Welcome to Money Matters on the Gift and Home channel. Okay, today we're going to tackle a big one, projections. When we look at our store business, we think, what am I going to sell next month or next year or the year after that? And of course, we don't really know. So for any business plan or just your own planning, it's important to set some projections. Now, if you're in a brand new store or if you're starting a new category in an existing store, this is something we try to do with every new department we bring in. We start by researching the average dollars per square foot for that type of business. When we did projections for our business plan for our new business, we looked at the dollars per square foot for furniture stores as well as for gift stores. By the way, a general gift shop, you're looking at anywhere from $80 to $150 per square foot annually. So this will help you have an idea of how much you should sell to stay in business. So first you're looking at your average sales per square foot. You're going to follow that by thinking about your turn rate. Now your turn rate is the number of times in a year you sell the same item. If you sell that pink purse 6 times, you've turned that item 6 times in a year. So it's very important for you to get your turns in line. If you have something that turns too quickly, and by the way, in the gift business, we figure 2 to 4 turns a year, depending on the item and depending on the category. By the way, this is a little extra thing. Not every item in a line is going to turn at the same rate. And sometimes you're going to have a great item that turns rapidly, that has some brothers and sisters, supporting players, that turn more slowly. Remember that those slow turners often help the faster seller have the velocity you need to stay in business. So when you look at the turn rate for a line, look at the dollars for the entire line and not just the dollars per item. Because if you try to order only the hottest items, you're not going to sell as well as if you order the entire line. So anyway, as you're looking at your turn rates, remember to see that you want to have 2 to 4 turns for an item in a year. If your turn rate is too high, you're moving it so quickly you risk being out of stock and you need to order more inventory. If your turn rate is too low, then that item is not moving quickly enough to justify the amount of inventory you have on hand and you're overstocked in that item. So as you're learning your business or reviewing your existing business, be sure you look at those turn rates because they really help you manage your money better. For an existing store, look at your history. Look at what the business did last year and the year before as a whole and category by category, which will help you determine your projections for your entire business as well as different segments of it. Take into consideration economic climate. Do you have a huge number of layoffs? You may want to project flat sales for next year if you think that the business is really going to change in your territory. And then also think about new inventory. If you have just added a whole new collection of products, put in a whole new department, your general sales are likely to go up because you've increased your inventory and added to your assortment. So as you're doing your projections, you're going to look at your turn rates, you're going to look at your dollars per square foot, and then you're just going to think as a merchant and think, this is what the numbers are telling me, this is what it looks like in my territory, and this is what I make of it. And be sure you trust your intuition as well as the reports, because it's intuition that turns you from an accountant into a shopkeeper. And there's one more thing. As you're doing these spreadsheets with your projections, run them several different ways. Take a look at what your business would look like at $75 a square foot, at $100, at $150, so you know what you really need to stay in business. When we opened our new store, one of the most comforting things my husband told me was how much we had to do a day to keep our doors open. So as soon as I knew that number and saw that we were regularly attaining that number in the registers every day or more, I could sleep much better because I knew that we were indeed paying the bills and we were going to stay in business. Thank you for joining us for Money Matters on the Gift and Home channel.